Hello everyone, I am intending that you are well, happy, and whole. It is I, Lily Nooney, the real spiritualist, here planting seeds of health and wellness by healing through intentional energy. I'm back with this heavy topic talking about sexual abuse and the impacts it has on the mind, body, and spirit. First, I want to talk about the different types of abuse that can occur. We are very familiar with rape, which is forced sexual contact with someone who does not consent or cannot consent. And a perfect example of that is if someone is under the influence of drugs or alcohol and they can't make decisions for themselves. You shouldn't be sleeping with people who are under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and you can tell they're not themselves. That's a big no-no, which can fall under date rape. And that is when people are in an established relationship with each other and those kinds of things occur. No consent whatsoever, and the inability to consent whatsoever, it's a no-no. And then we have things like child molestation, incest, non-consensual sexual activity, non-contact sexual abuse, which falls more into like psychological and legal boundaries, I would say. Inappropriate comments made to people, publishing nude photos or pornography without consent, especially when it's with a minor. All those things are big no-nos, and they can be prevented by coming to self-realization, controlling your impulses, controlling your urges, and the lust that runs through our veins here on earth. You must be a master of your being here, of your mind. I like to tell people that the soul sits in the mind and in the heart, because those are the centers from which we make most of our choices, which we are most influenced, most impact. We are most impressioned here. That is where the most impressions occur. So, is the result of sexual abuse. I shared yesterday that I won't say a victim of some type of non-consensual sexual activity. I hadn't realized that. I had been carrying it with me since those occurrences, very deep down within my being. Some things that occur psychologically, physically, mentally, when someone undergoes that is anger, nightmares, tantrums, depression. You see a lot of mood swings and anxiety. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is not uncommon, and personality disruptions, attachment issues, and we all know about addiction. I want to first go into the things that can't be helped, really, like nightmares, PTSD, your body just reacting to things that may seem similar, feel similar, sound similar to those experiences. Those kinds of things really can't be helped because it's innately your body responding to those experiences. Nightmares, when we sleep, they're revealing things that occurred in the subconscious mind. We buried it unconsciously. Our dreams are revealing that stuff to us. The personality disruptions, it's just really sad, because that's when those, like, I'm bipolar, I have severe depression, I have anxiety issues, mood swings, multiple personalities, because I am trying to ground myself in something to protect myself, essentially. For me, I had extreme mood and anger issues that I buried within me. I would say my first time I really let it out was probably when I started having sex with my first girlfriend. People will always wonder, why you guys always argue? Why you guys always have issues with each other? Well, it was because we were having sex with each other, and it wasn't something that I initiated. It was something that she initiated because she wanted to teach me how to kiss, right? And I spent 20 years with that person in my life. It was not someone I could not be around, because we were also family, but not to that extent. Her brother was dating my mother. This is a story. So it was really hard not to be around her because our families were heavily integrated. I had developed so much anger and mood swings from my first non-consensual sexual experience. And I mean, that is when I first started seeing my anger and mood swings occur. That is when I feel like my body started to heed my emotional signals, my emotional state of being, and try to protect itself. But then, you know, it started misinterpreting information, and then it weakened a system of mine. But this is why I'm sharing this information, because I don't want people to have to live with autoimmune diseases or different types of personality disorders because someone at some point in their life did something to them that they weren't supposed to do. If you're watching this video, don't be that fucking person. You put a person in a situation where they're unprepared to protect themselves, you know they can't defend themselves or speak up, you're wrong. And everyone in all these multiverses is watching and witnessing, and God is going to be the judge. Attachment issues. We get attached to things that are unhealthy for us because they are familiar. We might not necessarily be comfortable, or we can grow into comfort, but we get attached to things and people and personalities that are reflective of our abusers most of the time. Why does this happen? It's because we're trying to adapt and fill a void. We're trying to adapt to the abuse. So we are going to attract things, because how are we functioning? Still from a low vibrational state, just feeling weak, vulnerable. I can't be helped. So we're going to keep attracting things that are not going to help us in our healing. We're going to have relationships that are like repeating cycles that aren't accumulating to anything positive. We gain addictions. Addictions is a huge thing. People thinking that they can have 1, 2, 3 beers every day and it's okay because they drink enough water. That is an attachment issue. That's an addiction to a substance. Smoking a lot of weed all the time. Like, I decide when I'm going to smoke. That's just it. I can roll a blunt and have it sitting for 5, 6, 7 hours and just not even be fazed by it. I know so many people who cannot go a day, cannot go an hour without smoking. Addiction issues. We're running from something. And this always isn't, you know, with sexual abuse, addiction issues. But I'm talking about a sexual abuse and how it impacts the mind, body, and spirit. Addiction is the one thing that will try to help us. I'm your friend. I'm here to support you. But then behind your back is like, that person's so crazy. They're so weird. They do this, this, and that. That's what addiction is like to me. And the only thing I had a problem with is my anger and my mood. And that's really all I can speak on. But I know that they experience chronic pain, fertility issues, all these other things in relation to that, or those experiences that could have been prevented. And I know it's hard. It's hard to say, well, like, how can I know? How do I know? That's why discernment is so important. Like, what do you mean? How do you not know someone is a fucking pervert? How do you not know? You can't just look at someone and see their mannerisms, their language, the look in their eyes. That's what I'm saying. Discernment is so important. My son stays with no one except for his father and my mother. Like, I'm not having my beautiful ass son around weirdos. No, not at all. And people are like, well, I have to go to work. I have to do this. You better figure out a way, because for me, I will miss out on a paycheck to prevent all of this shit from happening to my child. I don't want my son to have nightmares or anger issues or fertility issues or attachment or addiction issues. And yes, these things occur. The craziest part about it is so many types of experience in life can cause these things to happen. But right now I'm talking about sexual abuse and how it impacts the mind, body, and spirit, because It's something that I had to deal with. I had to deal with sexual abuse, non-consensual sexual activity during my growing years. My mother had no idea. Eventually, I told my father about it. But I didn't tell my mom until about 3 years ago that my cousins were having sex with me. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea. Yeah, I know you didn't. And this is why it's important to teach your children about sex. My son knows about the reproductive system. He doesn't know about sex per se, but he has an idea. Because no, you can't send your children or yourself into this world unprepared. That's why Earth is so destructive right now. These parents neglecting their children, and their children end up with all these personality disorders that make them very unfavorable human beings. I just had to share this because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and sexual abuse plays a huge role in mental health. I feel like this is the biggest area that impacts mental health, because once something physical is done, it can't be undone. We can't undo the feelings our body registers, programs into our being to respond to our everyday environments and circumstances. It's a very sad topic and it's very heavy, but it behooves us to talk about it. Become aware of the signs, guys. Protect yourself and protect your people. And this is how I am. If I see some shit going on, okay, if I see some shit going on, I'm not the person to say quiet. I'm really not. I'm not. And like I said, it's because I know what I am and who I am, and nothing can destroy that. Fuck this flesh suit. I could care less about it. It's my tool here now. So yes, I'm going to be like, getting with it, being with it properly. But it doesn't determine whether I be me or not. It doesn't determine my authenticity or not. The feelings I feel, I'm able to discern. When you get those gut feelings, fucking follow them. People putting themselves in so many fucked up situations when your body, your soul told you, don't go. Don't do it. But children can't, children don't know these things. And I'm really speaking from that perspective right now, because we can help the children. I can help adults as well, but the children really need to be protected. We need to watch out for our children because they are our future. I'm never going to be in a nursing home, but for those of like the people I know my age who are going to end up in nursing homes, my child and his generation are going to be the people taking care of us. And if you're not growing them to properly regard you how you want to be regarded, whose fault is it? Not theirs. It's not. And I believe in a thing called accountability and responsibility. And if you are not responsible or accountable for your actions or the lack thereof, God will align you. God will get you right. But, that's my piece for today, to be honest. I just wanted to get those things out. Protect your children, protect yourself, protect your peace. Know that this reality is not the end. It's just a process to begin. Blessings and bliss your way, guys. Peace.